I'm not going to start with any easy questions.
What would you do if you couldn't fail?
I was vulnerable in the sense of I was just who I was.
The cold exposure conditions the inside of our body to literally adapt.
Whatever happens in the gut happens in the brain, and whatever happens in the brain happens in the gut.
Finding the grace and the humor.
Anti-aging is associated with at least an hour of deep sleep nightly.
Absolutely had mentors, absolutely 100% had coaches.
90+% of the decisions that we make today actually stem from fear.
Allow ourselves to have imperfection.
Nothing starts without a plan, nothing ever goes to plan.
Chaga is actually the most antioxidant rich food on the planet.
If we can bring a practice into our lives that helps us be more vulnerable. I'm so thrilled that this content is getting out there, that you guys are promoting bold and vulnerable message and aspirations for people, because I hope that we can all really live that every day.
Hey, this is Jessica.
And Svetlana, and you're listening to the Bold and Vulnerable podcast,
where we aim to inspire others to live authentically through sharing the bold and vulnerable stories of peak performers across a variety of industries. Hey guys, it's Jessica here, and you know I love my coffee. We have recently partnered with a company called La Repubblica Coffee. They are completely fair trade, they are non-GMO and all vegan, which you guys know I'm vegan, so I'm totally a fan. But the cool thing is that this is a mushroom coffee company. You know, sometimes people feel stuck in their coffee routine. They feel like they can't live with it, they can't live without it. Maybe coffee makes them feel overwhelmed. This coffee completely makes you feel so zen. It gives you a peace of mind and well-being and a clean energy jolt. You don't have any jitters that you get with coffee because the cordyceps really help to regulate the intake of caffeine from the coffee. It's a rich source of vitamin D, E, and many other things that help your immune function and optimal health. It's a perfect way to incorporate high beneficial superfoods into your morning routine. I love to start my morning with just a smooth cup.
This morning, I was so freaking excited because I ordered my bulk order. I'm telling you, George and I were literally waiting by the door yesterday. I'm not joking. And finally they came at like 7 and we were so excited, and George and I were like, should we drink this now?
Yeah, listeners, you guys are going to be so excited because you get 15% off all of your orders by using the code vulnerable, all caps 15. So vulnerable 15, all caps.
We only partner with companies that we believe in here at Bold and Vulnerable because we really value honesty and just being truthful to our audience. Being a working mom and entrepreneur, you really want to have all the hacks possible at your fingertips. So I'm so freaking excited to be partnering with this company.
Everyone that I've talked to who's tried it has been raving about how delicious it is. And we drink it during our podcast episodes, and just to give us a jolt of energy. It has 7 superfood mushrooms. So not only do you get the benefits and energy of your cordyceps, but you also get the healthy benefits of lion's mane. It gives you so much focus and immunity support. You also get this really nutrient-rich product that elevates your focus and also elevates your gut. So it's almost like using a smart blend of quality chaga, reishi, shiitake, turkey tail, and your immune system just gets this daily boost of energy. And it also helps to alkalize the effects of coffee's natural acidities.
Yeah, definitely. And what I really love about it is that they have a gold standard for their manufacturing, which I think is really important, which tells us that they have high standards, obviously, as do we here at Bold and Vulnerable. The benefits that you're receiving in 1 cup of coffee are just outstanding.
It's kind of like an anti-inflammatory for your body, which is absolutely amazing. And not only that, it has a wonderful taste. So I think that's everything that people are looking for. Even people that don't drink coffee, I think will probably enjoy the taste of La Repubblica coffee.
We have a discount code for you. It is all caps vulnerable 15.
Head over to larepublicasuperfoods.com and type in vulnerable 15 when you check out. You will receive a 15% discount on all of La Repubblica's mushroom coffee.
Get yourself an amazing adaptogenic cup of coffee.
But, you know, I think it was really, when we got closer, we went to this leadership summit in Kentucky, and it was, there weren't that many people. I think there was maybe like 15 of us, and I just got to know you so much more on a deeper level. And I would truly say, I mean, you're just one of the most authentically real people. You are that energetic, like that is you. So I just wanted to start with just that, and we can kind of take it off. And if you want to give us a quick kind of spiel of what human capital is, or what you've been doing over the past couple years since I've chatted with you, maybe that's where we can start.
Absolutely. When Jessica and Svetlana, first off, thank you so much for having me today. It's really an honor, and I'm happy to be here speaking with both of you, especially you Jessica. It's been a while, so I was really excited to see what you're doing here with BOLD LLC. And it reminds me, the story you brought up when we were in Kentucky, I always think about something different when I think about Jessica Sears. It's when you spoke at the event in that beautiful house with the ice luges. You remember that?
Yeah.
Where was that? I believe in North Carolina for that leadership weekend class. And I remember you speaking about your idea of what it takes to really achieve greatness along the lines of that, and tying that to truly being obsessed. And that spoke to me even more now than it did then. But know that conversation still resonates with me today. So really happy that you took the stand and spoke in front of everybody and had that message. But to answer as a brief introduction, so I founded Summit Human Capital coming up on 2 years. Really fired up about that, considering most businesses fail within their first year. So really excited we made it past the big first year.
You did it.
Yes, but it wasn't just making it past the first year. We're blessed in the fact that we're growing very quickly. And what we do is we provide a premium service providing IT human capital solutions. And you'll notice that another word that's often interchangeable with human capital in our space is staffing. And I'm not a big fan of that word at all. So, and the reason why I say that is that's one of the biggest reasons why I started Summit Human Capital. Staffing to me has created a negative connotation in our space because it's truly throwing bodies at walls, is how I've seen it in dollar signs on people. Where if you really focus, to your point, Jessica, on authenticity, and you build authentic and genuine and profound and deep relationships, and you focus truly on changing lives and not the financials or margin or your bottom line, the financials come with that. So that to me was a major opportunity in our space to do something different in our approach, and why we have the reviews that we have. We have all 5 out of 5 star reviews, 100% retention rate. And I'm really excited about that because that's rare in our space. It can really come with some negative stereotypes that we're working to turn around. So that's a brief introduction.
I love it. And Glenn, for the listeners who don't know you or can't see you, how old were you when you started your company? Because I know you're a quite young CEO, and I want everyone to kind of hear that success story too.
Yeah, well, I will tell you, my bones are starting to hurt in the morning, and I'm pushing the big 30. Okay.
Woo!
Yeah, I know. But and it was April of 2017. April of 2017.
So 28. You were 28 years old?
Correct.
Nice.
Excuse me, 27. I'm coming up on the big 30.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you were 27. Well, just congratulations for all your success. First of all, I knew in anything that you did, you were going to be successful. So that was just no doubt at all. You're relentless. You would never give up. And I just saw you soaring to success little by little by little. And I've just been so proud of you. Just watching your story has been so amazing. And that's really why we wanted to have you on, because not only are you a story of somebody who came from literally the ground up, started your own company, and now you're flourishing, but you were able to take that leap and take that risk. So what was going through your mind when you took that risk and took that leap?
I was so fired up. I knew, I still remember the week. I still remember those feelings. Of course, on one side, you're incredibly nervous, right? Your entire life that you've worked for is now on the line. And you have to really be ready to lose it all, literally to lose everything. And I was ready for that. But I knew a couple years into my prior life that I was going to do this. It just made so much sense. And it was just a matter not of if, but when. And just all those, everything going through your mind is so real. It's so intense, Jessica and Svetlana, but the clarity continues to come over months as you're thinking about it. And what really hit me over time, ladies, is I realized that there was never enough financial income. You were never going to be well enough network or have the appropriate network to have the best process quite in place, to have all your innovation captured in your first year or in your mind. So it hit me that there was never going to be a perfect time to do it. And I thought to myself that if I don't follow the stream that I know my heart is telling me that I need to do, and I've known I need to do for years, then I don't want to say I would be trapped, because that's not fair. I'm very blessed and fortunate to what I learned in my prior life, but I did feel that I was entering a phase where if I didn't leave and do this, that it wasn't going to happen. So I'm a firm believer that there's never a perfect time to starting your own company and doing something that makes you incredibly uncomfortable and gets you out of your comfort zone, right? And that's what prompted me to say, now's the time. Even though all the answers weren't quite there, but you know what? They're never going to be quite there. And that's the beauty of owning a company and pushing yourself. But all we can do is seek those answers and to continuously innovate and continuously set up your team for success each and every day and enjoy the valleys that really take you to your summit. So that's what we're doing here every day. But it was really intense emotions for sure. And they still are. It's an intense lifestyle, no question.
Yeah, how balanced is your life just in terms of work versus Glenn being able to spend time? I know you got married recently, spending time with, family and getting your workouts in. Like how balanced are you right now? Are you all over the place because it's just entrepreneur life, or do you have any specific routines or anything that keep you grounded?
That is a great question and a question I'm still figuring out. Well, excuse me, I'm still working to figure out that answer. But I heard this from a wise man, and he told me one day recently, within the last year, he said, Glenn, you know what? I don't really believe in work-life balance. I believe in work-life rhythm. So I asked him, I said, what does that mean to you? Can you elaborate? And he mentioned that work-life rhythm, how he defines it, is you're never going to have a perfect balance and a perfect fairy tale lifestyle. But you have to realize that there's times in your life that require maybe a significantly higher amount of early mornings and late nights, right? And there's other times in your life where maybe business is a little slower, or your team is just fully taking control, and you can back off a little bit and you have a little more time. And then you can maybe leave a little earlier than you're used to leaving, or getting a little bit later, or doing some of the hobbies that are really important to you. You know what I mean? It's all part of that work-life rhythm, that life rhythm. I'm definitely in the rhythm where it's much more summit focused, especially that first year. I mean, every morning I'm up at 4:45. I'm in the office by no later than 6. And I'm not home until anywhere between 7 to 7:30. And if I wasn't married, to your point, Jessica, I'd probably sleep here. But to me, the challenge is I have to thank gosh I'm married, because my wife she makes me leave. She makes me leave, and she's the reason why I want to leave, because I love what I do so much, right? So I'm still figuring that out. I will tell you, the last 6 months I've gotten back into a lifelong passion of mine, being tennis. And we joined a racket club, so now I'm playing 2 matches a week, which has been huge to release some of that stress and steam. But right now I'm more towards that in that rhythm of heavy summit mode, and that's okay. And that's okay. I knew going into that's what this would look like, and I see people growing so quickly over these last couple of years that'll change as the team is positioned to be set up for success and start managing more of these initiatives. Because I always tell my team, they are the future, not me. It's my job to get us on the right boat with the right strategy, moving in the right direction. But really, I'm looking at building these first 20 to 40 associates. They are the future. They are building the culture.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. And I think it's going back to your point about what you mentioned earlier, where I gave a talk about being obsessed with and loving what you do. And that is all about authenticity right there. If you love what you do and you're grinding and you're doing it and you're hustling hard for what you want to build and what you believe, then there's no problem with that. And like you said, I really love how you use the word rhythm, and, props to whoever gave you those wise words. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a wonderful way to look at it. There's these ups and downs and ebbs and flows to every part of life, and you'll get your time to enjoy more leisure activities later on if you're really building this business in the true fashion that you are. So I think it's honorable, and again, I've said it before, but just have enjoyed watching the process for you. Svetlana, sorry, I'm kind of dominating because I love Glenn so much. I want to make sure I give you a chance to ask any questions too.
Yeah, no, I'm just enjoying listening to Glenn. I'm really enjoying listening to you speak. I really love your enthusiasm and your passion, and I really appreciate what you said about how you're in this rhythm, because I too don't really believe that there's a balance in business and in life. And I'm right now in parenthood, and I believe that
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I just had my baby girl 3 months ago.
Awesome.
She's a lot of fun. But yeah, it's been a juggle, and I believe that it's really about seasons and harmony, finding harmony and that season in your life, like you said, where there are times where I'm up really early and I'm up really late, and then there are times where I'm just sleeping in and I'm chilling and I'm not doing anything, and I'm enjoying that as well. So I too don't really believe in the whole concept of balance, because I don't think there's such a thing.
Yeah. And two major shout outs here. One, Svetlana, again, congratulations on parenthood. One day I may be calling you for advice. That's really exciting. And Jessica, I'm just so fired up for you that you really stepped out and you're going all in, that you're fully all in and out on your own is just so exciting. I'm such a fan of entrepreneurs and want to see everyone thrive and succeed in this beautiful world. So seriously,
Thank
that is
you.
awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Glenn. Again, I mean, just such a positive person. I love chatting with you, but I do think that there's things that shape us. And so kind of going in the opposite direction, any type of adversity or failure that maybe set you up for success later on. Have you experienced any type of adversity in your life? And would you be willing to maybe share one of those instances with us, maybe about how you failed forward or anything that set you up for success later in life that maybe you didn't know you had to go through in order to get where you are?
Yeah. There's a few, right? I think failing is so beautiful and so important to step forward. I want to think there's a few. Now, before I answer that, I could either talk about high school days, early college days, or I could talk about a story in the essence of time. That's why I want to ask you. Or I could talk about a story very early on in Summit that's been incredibly important for changing our company in a better direction. Which one do you think is more appropriate?
I think we should hear about your company because, you're a young entrepreneur. A lot of people, if they don't already, after listening to this, are going to start looking up to you. So I really think that would be something that our listeners would enjoy hearing about.
Awesome. Well, when I left my prior life, I had this amazing idea that I used to have to say no to clients about supporting them with opportunities outside of information technology, right? And to me, I didn't understand that because I'm such a relationship guy that I hated saying no to someone, even if it was outside of our swim lane and capabilities. And I thought, and the future was Summit. Instead of just focusing in information technology, which is my entire background, we're going to do it all, whether it's supply chain, whether it's healthcare. I mean, all the way to doctors. I mean, anything in healthcare, or traveling nurses, to IT, to hospitality. I mean, that one-stop shop for any and all requirements is what all the content on our site originally was. And I quickly realized that actually before launching Summit, I read The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. And I don't know if I pronounced his last name correctly, but I remember in one of the chapters that really still speaks to me is the importance of, do you persevere or do you pivot? And over the first few months of the company, I quickly realized through very real and direct feedback, which I'm very grateful for. I believe that's the only way you can really get better, is hearing constructive feedback, is that the messaging to our audience was not resonating well. How can a small startup business be great at everything? How can this startup be so niche and provide this service in all verticals? And I remember hearing that from quite a few clients throughout the Greater Richmond community. And I sat there and really chewed on it and made a pretty big decision within 6 months of the company, when I think I was still working out of a coffee shop, literally, to change the content and go all in on what I know best and what I believe is the current, the now, and the future. And that's a combination of healthcare and IT. But we went all in on what I've always known, and that's information technology, and just totally zeroed in on this space and changed all of our content, all of our marketing content, our strategy, all of our deliverables, our proprietary applicant tracking system, the focus with that. I mean, it just changed the entire company. And it was a big pivot. It was so hard to acknowledge that I had made that, what I believe, mistake that I'm very grateful for making, because it was such a learning experience. But since that pivot, we're growing at almost 2,000% and have gone from just myself to a team of 30. And it's been a huge change. But it took failing and hearing at the end of the day, negative feedback, and listening to that and changing and hence pivoting to make that crucial company change for the better.
Yeah, I think it's so important to, number one, have mentors and coaches that can make you aware of those blind spots. But I think another thing to notice is that you really started to listen to your clients, and you started to listen to the feedback that you were getting and didn't really turn your back to that. So as hard as that information is to hear, I think it's powerful to not only listen to coaches, but to listen to your clients. Did you have specific coaches that you were working with in terms of career coaches or business coaches? Did you have anyone that was helping you kind of see those blind spots?
Great question. And that's always been such an interesting topic. Jessica, and I agree with you. It's so hard finding the right coach, because what I've never been a big fan of is just having a coach to have a coach. And it's been a struggle for me my entire life. But since being in Richmond, the first, I would say 4 to 6 months, I did not have a coach. And then I ran into an individual that I knew from my days in DC that also left DC to start his own company. He actually owns 2 massage envies and turned them into the most profitable massage envies in the country. But his whole background is executive leadership in major government contractors like the CACIs and Lockheed Martins of the world. And we reconnected. And this guy, you'll appreciate this, Jessica, being in this space for as long as you were. I called this guy over 30 times. His name is Dr. Jason Seibel. Not just an amazing business mentor and coach to me, but an amazing life coach, a true leader in and outside of work, giving back to the community. And he's literally the smartest person I've ever met, and truly cares about, I know he cares so much more about me than just my business, but me as a person. And I'm so grateful for that. But this is a guy that I called over 30 times and shut me down every single time for years until we finally met before I left and went back to Richmond. And we lost touch and reconnected. And him and I talk every week. And he does not hold back. And it's been literally a life changer, literally. And I don't use that term lightly at all.
Yeah. Why did he start talking to you? I guess the more intelligent question would be, do you think he started talking to you because you weren't trying to sell him something?
I'll have to ask him, because I remember vividly where we met and what changed, because we did meet before I went back to Richmond. What I think is that we both had a similar story, a significant amount of time in DC, left DC to come to Richmond, to a city that makes more sense for our lifestyle and what we're trying to accomplish. And he does consulting for businesses as well. So he left CACI and his time from CACI and Lockheed Martin, which are two big government contractors, to start his own consulting business, helping small to mid-sized organizations, actually all the way to multi-$100-million businesses, take their game to the next level. And that's where it made sense for us to connect. So in the beginning, it was a little bit of a consulting relationship. And then it really transformed into more of a outside of work and just overall life and business relationship as we continuously had more and more conversations. So Jessica, that's a great point. I wouldn't say it was the sales focus, because we still met before I left. And then just the fact we both ended up back in Richmond, I thought made too much sense for us not to connect. But I'll have to ask him that. Right? I'm curious now. Thank you.
No, I was just third party looking in. I was like, I wonder why he finally decided, like, after, ignore, and then he was like, okay, I'll talk to Glenn now. But you're persistent, so maybe that's just what it was. Hey listeners, quick interruption to your podcast. For those of you that can't see Svetlana and I right now, we both have coffee mugs in our hand, and we are always sipping on our La Repubblica coffee. And you guys can actually enjoy the benefits and the adaptogens and all the beautiful qualities of this coffee as well, because they are actually our partners and our sponsors.
Well, I'm obviously sipping on my La Repubblica coffee right now. I can't do a podcast interview without it. Nothing really works the way that this stuff works. There really is something in this coffee, and I mean it's the mushrooms, it's the reishi that gives you sort of like that zen feel.
I know it's wintertime right now, and if you guys maybe are feeling a little stuffy or feel a little tingle in your throat, this is the perfect elixir that can not only fight a common cold, but it helps your skin glow, your hair grow thicker, and reduces inflammation in your body. Chaga is amazing. It also contains cordyceps for better performance and increased energy, but not the crash that coffee might give you from a caffeine standpoint.
Combating mom brain and fatigue right now, it's really helping me maintain focus and maintain that sustainability that I need to get on throughout my day, especially with a newborn and running multiple businesses.
You guys are going to love this coffee. Not only does it have the 7 adaptogenic mushroom extracts, but it will certainly transform your morning coffee ritual. And it's really something that you can integrate really easily into your peak performance habits.
I can attest to La Repubblica's coffee being one of the best elixirs that I've tried thus far, and I have tried several. I never, ever, ever talk about products unless I love them. If you guys are interested, we do have a discount code. It is
vulnerable, all caps 15. So vulnerable 15. Head over to larepublicasuperfoods.com and type in vulnerable 15. When you check out, you will receive a 15% discount on all of La Repubblica's mushroom coffee. Thanks for listening. Go grab your 15% discount. And now back to our episode. But being a new to entrepreneurship and a young entrepreneur, what 3 tools or resources or advice would you give to, an entrepreneur who's maybe struggling to get things done? Or what recommendations would you perhaps give to somebody who wants to start something but hasn't taken that leap yet? What were the top 3 things for you?
So there's so many, but I'll speak to a few. I briefly touched on this earlier, but know that if you have a great idea, and it doesn't have to be an idea that is a disruptive innovation, right? Like SpaceX or Tesla with Elon Musk. It doesn't always have to be that. There can be great innovation within an existing industry. If you have a great business idea and you have a great business plan, and you have at least a fair amount of the pieces to the puzzle, there's never going to be the perfect time to do it. And what I would hate for anyone is to live a life of regret and thinking about their entire life. What if? What if I had done this? What if I had followed my dream? Where would I be now? Because the worst that can happen is failure. But what that's really going to do is going to be such a learning experience. It'll change your life for the better in almost every way. Yeah, maybe your wallet takes a monumental hit, but there's plenty of time to make up for that. At least that's my belief. So the big one, number one takeaway is there's never the perfect time to launch. There's really not. And you're never going to have all the answers, and that's okay. That's part of the amazing journey of entrepreneurship. Number 2 is this is all about just your overall mental strength, which I think is so important. Jessica, you mentioned a coach. I went through an interviewing process through this Tony Robbins course. I'm really excited to go to one of the conferences in August. But it's all what I love about him is just the power of your mental strength and how a positive mentality leads to positive outcomes and results. And there are times of extreme intensity, and just you have to realize that that's going to happen to accept it. And that goes hand in hand with number 2 is don't compare yourself to anyone else around you. And what I mean by that is what's been a challenge for me is that a lot of my friends, I love them all to death, but entering this world, you definitely feel like you're on an island, especially in the first couple of years, because especially if you do it at some younger age, and even if not, because not everyone around you is doing that journey of entrepreneurship, and it really can feel like you're totally on an island. And when your friends are saying, "Hey, we're going out for a couple cocktails and dinner Thursday night," but you're waking up the next day at 4:45 because that's what you need to do to set your team up for success. You just have to know that your life and your lifestyle is going to change, and you have to be ready to mentally accept that. That's so important, because if you're not ready to go all in, then I don't think you should launch a company. And I'm not saying you have to wake up at 4:45 to be all in, but you have to be ready to make significant sacrifices every single day. And number 3, you have to have a conscious and focused effort on improving your sphere of influence. Totally. That saying, you are an average of the 5 people you associate yourself with the most. Could not agree more. Now, there are exceptions to that rule. Don't get me wrong. But you have to look around your life and think, are these people, are these friends, are they helping to push me to the next level? Are they motivating me to maybe stay that extra hour, or to take that call, or to go meet with this mentor, or to do X, Y, and Z? Or are they asking me is it more about what they want from you, or taking you away from your goals? And I'm not saying you have to drop all your friends. No, not at all. But when you're going through this journey, it's so helpful to be going through it with other people around you that are doing the same thing. 100%. And I will tell you, ladies, that's been a huge challenge for me, and that's really taken a turn for the better over the last, I would say, approximately last 3 months. My network is really improving drastically, but it took a significant amount of effort to find these people. You know what I mean? And it's been a game changer, because not just that, I think sometimes you need somebody to talk to too. Mm-hmm. When you get off work, I love talking to my wife, but what I don't want to do is when I come home, I want to give her everything I have. And I don't want to talk about or vent about work. But when your buddy has started his own company, whether it's in the same industry or not, and the same industry would be ideal, because you guys can really can learn from each other, and there can be some synergy. But if not the same industry, at least going through the life of entrepreneurship, because rest assured, you guys are going through some of the same challenges. And just being able to talk to someone that's going through that same journey is such a big deal. it's such a life-changing type of friend that I think it's absolutely imperative for long-term success in entrepreneurship.
Wow. Some of the things that you're saying, Glenn, are really hitting home in terms of when you talk about it feels like you're on an island, because people that don't understand your mission and your vision, you can't really, it's like the only way that they can understand is if you transfer your brain into their brain, right?
Yeah.
Because they can't see the picture the way that you do. And so that brings me to one of my questions is, well, I have a couple questions, but I'll start with this one because mental strength is really important, mental and emotional strength. So how do you manage your mental and emotional strength? Because I'm sure that you've encountered some really difficult and challenging moments throughout this period. How have you managed that and not let your emotions take over and take a step back and see the bigger picture?
Yeah. And Svetlana, that's such a good point. I'm a believer that your mental strength is everything. I mean, the ideas and the process is a percentage, but I would give well over 70% being based off how strong you are mentally, because you will go through periods that will break a lot of individuals. And I will tell you, to Jessica's point that she brought up earlier, I've always been a almost weirdly positive and energetic guy. So negativity is something I refuse to associate myself with. In fact, I've actually said goodbye to a few friends with many conversations about turning behaviors around. And I'm not perfect at all, right? I'm working every day to improve. But it goes in line with just knowing who you're surrounding yourself with, positive people in nature that really pick you up, that help you get your mind where it needs to be. But really, it can't just be from other people. It's got to be from within. And Svetlana, to answer your question, to me, it's ever since founding Summit Human Capital, and it's so much more of an overall awareness.
So you said you're weirdly positive and you've always just been this way. Would you say that your upbringing has a lot to do with that?
Yes. That's an interesting point. My mother is, Jessica, you'll appreciate this. She has more energy than I do. And I mean, there's no such thing as a negative statement or it's always a glass half full mentality. Always. I was raised that way and I saw the benefits of it. And I made the decision that I wanted to be that way too. And not ever look at any situation as glass half empty, because that's when you really get down and you can have a major domino effect. So, but to answer your question, yes, I grew up in a household with a glass half full mentality, 100%.
I love that. That was what I was really curious about, because I feel like environment, and how you're nourished. I mean, obviously we all get to decide how we want to live our lives. We get to decide at some point. Like, my belief is that, you reach a certain age and you got to stop blaming your parents and your family and everybody around you for the circumstances of your life, and you make a choice of how you want to live your life. But I do believe that, like, when you are raised in a positive, nourishing environment, it really makes an impact. It really does. And I can see that just by your energy and just by the way you just talked about your mom too. So I love that. And I think that that's really attributing to your success and to your future success as well.
Well, thank you. And I'm very blessed. There's no question. And all I hope is that I can positively impact the team around me every day, because not everyone has a perfect day. And I'm not saying I do either, but it's my job to really rally my team, what we refer to as our Summit family, and take them out of tough times, even if it's a tough couple hours or a major update about someone having to be fired, heaven forbid. Unfortunately, it happens, and that can really get people pretty down, and I get it, but we also have a decision on how we let it get to us, right? Some things are out of our control, and since founding the organization, there's an awesome book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I know you guys have heard of it.
Literally going to ask you, because of what you said about conscious awareness. You made a statement, and that was one of my questions when I said I have a few. I was going to say, have you been reading Napoleon Hill?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I love it. I just love the book. In fact, we actually have a book club at Summit. Every Friday, I'll bring breakfast, and it's our requirement to read 2 chapters every week. And I love it because we don't just learn together and grow professionally, but we also grow personally because we get vulnerable and get to talk about each other's perceptions on what we're reading and how we look at that outside of work. I didn't know that was going to happen. So it's really evolved. But after this book, that's the next book we're rereading, Think and Grow Rich, because the awareness is key. You know when you're down in the dumps, when you have a negative outlook on life or a scenario. But the power of awareness is so critical because it gives you the opportunity to make a decision. Am I going to let this ruin my day or my week, or am I going to turn this around and let it fuel this fire and helping me achieve greatness? And at least it gives you that opportunity to make a decision. So that's the power to me of that overall awareness that I feel very grateful to now have that I didn't have before.
Yeah, and Glenn, you also mentioned, and we kind of buzzed by it, but you mentioned that you were doing a Tony Robbins event, and I want to let you know that just resonating with what you mentioned about feeling like you're on your own island. I went to Tony Robbins in 2016 and have been a fan ever since, and have gone to his events, and
Wow.
And Svetlana and I met through a Tony Robbins event. So
You're kidding me.
So just the power of that, Glenn, I just feel like you're going to meet your people. You'll definitely meet your people, because people who go there have the energy and they have the light and they want to be better people, and they're just like you. And it's a rare thing to spend that much money on yourself and on bettering yourself. And I promise you'll find some lifelong friends. And Svetlana and I are just a testament to that. So I wanted to give you that.
Wow, that is awesome. That right there that fires me up even more than I was, because it was really hard to press the submit button when I saw the cost of that event. I couldn't even. I was like, I can't believe everyone's doing this. And
are you going to Date with Destiny, or what's the event you're going to?
It's the week-long event. It's in Vegas in August.
Is it Business Mastery?
Yes.
Yeah, I went to that. You're gonna love it. It's purely business, and I believe he has Business Mastery too, which I haven't done, but it's more on the spiritual energy side of things. It's a really, really great event. I think you're gonna learn a lot, and you're probably gonna scale your business even faster after that. But I highly recommend, and we're not even affiliated with Tony, but Date with Destiny was just totally life-changing. I mean, you just change all aspects of your life going to Date with Destiny. Like you hit it all: life, relationships, career, health, wealth.
Yeah, and you can do that with your partner too, which is really cool, just.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, hey, your wife is amazing, so she probably understands your lifestyle and everything, but almost having her join that experience with you, with Tony, it's a whole different level. So anyway, Svetlana and I, again, we are not sponsored by Tony. We wish we were, but we are such huge fans.
One day, come on, the sky's the limit. That's right.
Let's go, Tony. No, we're just such huge fans, because again, that's how we met, and we've had other people on the show that come on our show that we've met through Tony. So it's just been this really, really huge network that's been built, and I promise you'll find some people there that are on the same page as you and have just the energy and commitment to their businesses. So I'm so happy for you. Congratulations on pressing the button, that scary button that says, holy shit, I'm investing in myself. Like, that's the best thing you could do for yourself in 2020. So I'm so pumped for you. And let us know how it goes, for sure.
I definitely will. I really appreciate you sharing that story. That's actually, if I understand correctly, for the Business Mastery course, there's only 150 CEOs that are going to be there globally. And then I think they're able to invite other partners or majority owners or co-owners, special invitations. So just to be in a room with that many people that are like-minded, to your point, and just want to do something bigger than themselves, that to me is almost worth just that submit button. Is I don't even know what I would have to do in Richmond to be around those people, where I'd have to go. You know what I mean? So it's just going to be, I'm really excited. Thank you guys for sharing that. I'm definitely going to let you know how it goes. I'm not going to sleep for 5 days. I'm excited, but I can't wait.
Oh, you're definitely not going to sleep. He doesn't stop. He goes for like 15, 16-hour days. He does not stop. And it's like you don't even want to go to the bathroom because you don't want to miss a word. Bring a pee bucket.
What a gift he has. I mean,
it's so amazing. It's so amazing.
That guy speak. I'm just thinking he just has such a gift. It's such a gift. It's such an amazing gift.
And you know what, Glenn? When you saw me when I gave that speech that you went to, that was right after I had gone to a Tony Robbins event. So I'm really glad that it stuck with you. But I felt like I was riding the waves of just the energy of that man, and the life changes that I made after I went were so profound that I was just riding a high for a really long time after I went too. So it's totally worth the investment. And yeah, I'm very pumped for you, but yeah, we'll follow up with you after you go, and you'll have to let us know how it is, and we'll hear all your stories. But we want to respect your time, but we always ask people one question on the show. It's the Bold and Vulnerable podcast. So we always ask our guests to maybe share a vulnerable moment with us that maybe you haven't shared with too many people, but something where you felt most vulnerable and something that you feel like might help our audience. So that doesn't have to be business wise. In fact, I encourage it to be a personal thing, but however you want to answer it, maybe a time that you felt most vulnerable in your life. And yeah, I'll leave it kind of open-ended.
Yeah. I think about something right away, actually. So my wife and I, it's pretty neat. She's just amazing. And, and she comes from a Persian background. Right. And I come from a Catholic background. So I'm talking to you about an overall very recent spiritual awakening for us. And it was always a gap in my life and not really any part of her life. So I always wondered, what is that going to look like for us in the future? And it was always a concern. And I really have been lost from a spiritual perspective, which is such an important bucket, I think, in someone's life to achieve fulfillment. And I didn't know when that bucket would ever have any healing. And I believe by the grace of God that somebody who's actually a client said, Glenn, I just went through a really brutal divorce. And he grew up as a Catholic and went to this asked to go to this church. It's a non-denominational church called Life Point. And he said, will you come with me? I was thinking, what the heck? I've always been going to the Catholic churches my whole life. I've really been out of this scene. I don't really know, but my client asked me. So I felt that I needed to go, and I went. And I asked my wife, her name is Nina. I asked Nina, I said, hey, will you come with me? And for some reason, she said yes. So which is very, very bizarre, right? I feel like I was always forcing her to go with me to church the times we did. And I was just so grateful that she went with me. But that first time ever going there, I walk in, I'm thinking, why? Right when I park, people are out in the parking lot saying hi to Nina and I. It was bizarre, right? It was bizarre in such a neat way. I said, is this even real? Is this BS? How are people so nice, right? Maybe, and then we walk 100 feet, another greeter, and then another greeter, and then another greeter. And then I'm hearing music. So, and I'm used to the Catholic way, and it's so ritualistic and so traditional. We walk into this high school, and I feel like I'm at a concert. And it's so dark, and the pastor comes, and I literally feel like he's speaking to me, and I just break down. Wow. I totally lost it. And what was crazy about it is that I looked to the left of me and my wife was losing it too. And fast forward months later, I just got rebaptized and she just got baptized on the same day together. And it was just, I don't like to shed tears. I don't know why I've always looked at it as being weak, even though it's not at all. And I'm learning that every day. And just to not be able to control that was so powerful and so life-changing going on this journey. and it's changed our marriage. I thought we had a great marriage, but I realized it could be so much better. And it's been a pretty wild spiritual journey the last 6 months. And feel so fortunate that happened and that I did say yes.
I appreciate you sharing that, and thank you for going deep with us. And I think, spirituality is such a big part of our lives, and in whatever form it takes, whatever form it takes. And I love that you're growing with each other, because that's also
with each other.
So important.
Exactly. Together. Yeah. To go through the journey together is it's so profound, and it's been life-changing for both of us. And like I think what you just said was so important, together. To go through something together like that, it's life-transforming. I couldn't imagine doing it alone. It just wouldn't. It would be very different. Very different. I'm not saying in a sad way, but us going together and growing over such an amazing thing, and asking each other questions every single week and growing together has been a gift. Truly a gift.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And, part of the reason why we ask our guests these questions is because, we bring on these successful entrepreneurs or speakers or just public figures. And sometimes people can feel like, oh, they're unrelatable. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we all have, we're all so much more multidimensional and have depth to us beyond just, what we do day to day. There's more to us.
Yeah, totally. That's so funny you say that. Sometimes I think about Bezos, and I said, I remember thinking, I said, I wonder how he eats fruit.
How does that man slow for pineapple?
Yeah, I'm serious. I was like, does someone cut it for him, or does he look at it and just cuts for him? I know, but you're right. I mean, that's so funny you say that, because there can be this like almost godly figure with some individuals, right? But they're going through tough times. Their mindset isn't always perfect, and there's more of a relatability than we really know. That's so true.
Yeah,
true.
I was just telling Jess, because I practice, just maintaining my energy, being positive, growing daily. And she did a recording for me, about my birth. And I was just like, I was not in a good state of mind. I'm not going to lie. I'm human, and shit happens. I like to say,
it does happen.
And my mindset just was not there. And I will be honest about that, because one of my values is honesty and integrity. And I always appreciate a really deep, raw, honest story from somebody. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
I love what you just said. One of your values is honesty and integrity. That's one of our key core values here. And it's actually all of our values are literally plastered on our wall. It's the first thing you look at when you walk into our office. So I love that. Love that you stay true to your values. I want to read something to both of you that is in a little antique frame that I read every week, and it really juices me up. And it states, it's about a paragraph, so bear with me. Look around you and look inside you. How many people do you think are settling? I will tell you, a hell of a lot of people. People are settling every day into okay relationships and okay jobs and an okay life. And you know why? Because okay is comfortable. Okay pays the bills and gives a warm bed at night and allows one to go out with coworkers on a Friday evening to enjoy happy hour. But do you know what okay is not? Okay isn't thrilling. It isn't passion. It isn't the reason you get up every day. It isn't life-changing or unforgettable. Okay is not the reason you go to bed late and wake up early. Okay is not the reason you risk absolutely everything you've got just for the smallest chance that something absolutely amazing could happen.
That gave me chills when you were reading it, and I might need to steal that from you and put it in a frame next to my computer, because wow, that's That's so true in every single way, and I love that you have that next to you. That actually fires me up. Like, I want it now.
I'll definitely take a picture and send it to you. Yeah, it's really special, and sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to be reminded,
Absolutely.
right? None of us are perfect.
Yeah. Well, Glenn, we absolutely loved having you on today, and I'm just totally jazzed for your future, because I know that not only after, going through business mastery with Tony Robbins, but just in general, you will be successful in anything that you put your mind to, because you are so positive and authentic, and you're very real, and I just know that it's gonna work out for you no matter what. You might fall on your face, you might fail a few times, there might be adversity that comes at you, but you are going to persevere, because that's just who you are. So I'm just so excited to see where the journey continues to take you, and we wanted maybe just to shout out where people can find you. Where can they find your site? Where can they find you on social media? And where should we send people? We'll link this in the show notes.
Yeah, so we have, thank you. Yeah, that's a great point. So we have Instagram, which we're very, very active, and very active with Twitter, and LinkedIn are the best ways to find us and to connect and communicate. Our Instagram and LinkedIn is Summit Human Capital. Our Twitter is @SummitHumanCap.
We'll link all those in the show notes so everyone can one click grab them from us. And just thank you so much, Glenn. I appreciate your time, and we loved chatting with you today. And just, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Svetlana, it was so great to meet you as well. Congratulations on being a mother. That is incredibly exciting. Jessica, congratulations again on going all in on your dreams of entrepreneurship. I wish you two nothing but continued success. And again, it was a delight to be with you all tonight.
Thanks so much, Glenn.
Thanks,
it was great
Glenn.
talking with you.
Bye, ladies.
Thank you for listening to the Bold and Vulnerable podcast. For more information on today's speaker, please visit us at boldandvulnerablepodcast.com.
And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Let's keep spreading the love by being bold and vulnerable. Thank you. We love you.